Howdy, and welcome back to another live coding session. Today, I think we're going to work on finishing up the campfire overlay that we made last time. Oh, open Clippy. Where we had the circles of light coming from the campfires, and I'm going to try to get campfire placement and maybe a day-night cycle going. I don't know how long I'm going to record today for, but the big thing is I don't want to be... Every time we move the campfires, we're actually creating a whole new material, which, when we create the material, it's calling all of the, prepare asset, like it's creating a buffer on the graphics card and creating new bind groups every time. And I don't think this is what we want. So I've been working on the next and final video in the trio for basic shaders, and I think I have found a way to easily be able to modify these buffers, and I'm going to try that out live today to make sure that I truly understand what I'm about to teach in the next video. Before we get into that, we had one pull request that came in, I think, today almost, or last night, that added a couple of features. They rethought active fires and made it a hash map, which I think I might rethink it again because I don't know how it's gonna look like when we set up the new rendering systems. And they showed me that we have the ability to despawn stuff now. So I can just despawn all kinds of crazy stuff. And that crashes because that's expected to be there. But the way that works is in main, there's despawnable entities in the inspector params. I'd only ever used the enabled. But there's this cool feature, which is good to know. And at some point, I do plan on doing a video deep diving into all the different ways you can use the eGUI, because I think that'd just be useful for me personally. One thing that was an error that I need to fix as we start to jump into this is when I was using this StorageBuffer, this StorageBuffer helper thing, I was not understanding that there are two types here. There's a T and a U, which is the values and the body. And if I look, I think when it creates the buffer, first it writes the body size, or it writes the body, and then it writes all of the items. So when it was confused why I didn't have one of the two types, it's because, oh wait, maybe I'm dumb. I take it all back. It wanted me to have a strut here. Yeah, see, it says FireGPU and unknown, which would be values, and then the body is unknown. So I want it to be FireGPU and this, which seems to be the exact same as not putting the none type. Okay, so maybe I just misunderstood Rust generics. I thought I was onto something, that this type should be none. And I was hoping that would fix the alignment issue we saw. So let's see if we still have the alignment issue. This is a recap. Now if I run, why are you crashing? Oh, sure, fair enough. And if not, I have a different way I think we're going to fix the alignment issue. I just thought maybe I was actually using things wrong. No, it is very upset. And it's not seeing all of the fires. Yeah, it crashes. Yeah, because the buffer is bound with size 12, where the shader expects it to be size 16, which implies that this is getting padding. So let's go to WGSL spec. I just need to bookmark this. So I also like to hide my bookmarks. There's nothing bad up there, it's just, I don't know, feels intrusive. And when I look in this manual for STD140, we are told that there is techniques that we can use to transform a GLSL buffer with STD140 layout to WGSL, which to me, reading this implies that WGSL is actually not matching the formats that things were claimed to be in, but who am I to say? So I think I want this to be aligned at 8, which should match 430. Oh, now you're just very upset. Is this not a concept? Am I using it wrong? It's in a strut. I haven't tried this out. Yeah, but... Okay, let me see if this is true in an older version of the spec. I still haven't figured out exactly which version Bevy is using. Yeah, I know it's outdated. Oh. At align? Okay, so this didn't exist until recently. Well, that's unfortunate. I'm assuming I'm searching this right. What chapter are we in? We are in 4.475. 4.475. Oh, it's the old syntax. Double brackets. Let's see. Why? I have Alt key mapped. Okay. So even when I try to force the alignment, buffer is bound with size 12, where the shader expects size 16. Maybe I'm misunderstanding what I'm doing wrong? I haven't actually looked at the memory layout, and it's probably just not worth it for me to dig into this now. But I'm assuming that means that something must just always be aligned, regardless of how I lay out the members. Yeah, okay. Well, I had ambition. Shader expects size 16. Okay. Well, that's enough of that. This won't be a problem in the new version of Bevy because they've swapped over to using in case. I think they did this like 4 days ago. So if I look at the examples now for shader, we have, instead of deriving STD140, I believe we derive shader type somewhere in here. No, we don't derive anything anymore. Why not? Where's the vec4? Oh, I forget they do weird stuff. What about the animate shader? Does this derive shader type anywhere in here? No. Okay, well, take my word for it. The new system, in case being their backend, has shader type. Rust in case. Yeah, everything is built around shader type, which I hope will be much more trustworthy for getting the alignments right. So, I haven't read much about the pull request and why they changed, but I hope it works out better because this seems to have WGSL as its first class option. So that's disappointing, but we still have working code, I guess, just with a dummy variable to fix the padding. Okay. So what we want to do now is, instead of spawning or creating a new material, we want to actually update the existing material. Specifically, instead of creating a new buffer, we want to update the existing buffer. So what I want to keep is this storage buffer. Wait, I want to keep your binding. Self.buffer. Option buffer. Yeah. I think I want to keep the storage buffer's buffer. Does this give me ownership of it? Is that private? FireMaterialGpu needs a reference to the buffer, because our end dream is going to be, we want to be able to get this in a function that's called every frame, and then we'll write the buffer to update it. So we need to keep ownership of that buffer. So now I need to just get my hands on the buffer somehow, which I don't know exactly how to do with these storage buffers. It's an option of the buffer. Well, at this point, it absolutely has to exist, so I'll just unwrap it. Can I have ownership of it? Does not implement copy. Well, that's fine. How do I get the buffer from you? I guess I don't need ownership of it, potentially. This is where my knowledge of Rust ownership falls apart. But this guy has an option of a buffer inside him that I can't get my hands on. Wonder if that's something that's I would want from the API. Oh, I wonder if I have my font size set right. Let me do a quick dummy check. Yeah, about 37 lines, or about 40 lines is what I think I go with for these videos. Okay, so that's unfortunate. I guess we can just keep a reference to it and see where that gets us. Oh wait, hold on. Missing lifetime parameter. Alright, down the rabbit hole. Alright, just tell me exactly what to type and I will type it. This is simpler for buffers that we create ourselves. Is there a way for me to give you a buffer? I still want to use this strut. I just want to be able to keep the buffer afterwards. Self.buffer, which gives it a reference to a buffer. I'm sure there's a Rust way. It's like move or something that I need, where I can just rip the ownership of this away from it, but I'm not remembering it at the moment. Oh, good grief. You're going to make me put lifetimes on literally everything? Sure. Let's just see where this gets us. Lifetimes don't match. I just set to what you want me to set. I do exactly what you tell me to do. And you're not happy? Oh, I can't use lifetimes in this trait. Because I'm implementing render asset. Well, this is a bottleneck I wasn't hoping to hit. I can't do lifetime. So I have no way to force this buffer to still exist. Rust turn reference into owned. Solution use std mem replace. Oh, good grief. Box is a pointer. Rust references are not merely pointers, they must be valid pointers. Replace. Let me just sit here and think. Let me read the docs. Bevy docs for storage buffer. I don't think there are docs. Gives a reference to the underlying buffer. Great. Oh, well, haha. Caveman brain. I'll just keep the storage buffer. See if I care. No reason not to, because all it's made out of is bodies and values, I guess. And it'll be a storage buffer of type GPU Fire. Or FireGPU. Cool. Okay, so now we have the storage buffer. Just keep that around, I guess, sure. And hopefully we'll be able to write to it. Because all we'll need to do is call write buffer with the render device in queue. There's no field name storage buffer. Yeah, sure. Okay. Well, that compiles. So now what we want to do is we need to set up prepare and extract, which thankfully in my new video, I get to cite the cheat book because we have this cool graphic that tells us the order of stages and how they work. So we have the extract stage and then the prepare stage, which is what we care about, because we want to copy the data from the game and then we want to write a buffer. So extract and then prepare. And this is what I've tried to contribute as an example, because this animate shader does the same thing, but it creates, sorry for all the scrolling, creates an entity render command to set the bind group. It creates its own custom, I think that's a phase item, or this tells you the order in which commands should be run. Creates a specialized mesh pipeline that does its own layout. It gets the custom pipeline from the world. It has a lot of concepts that I was very terrified to actually implement. But in reality, I don't think any of this is necessary. Because I think all that matters is these extract and prepare functions. I think everything else is extra. Because all you do down here is you set the bind group. But we've already set the bind group. So I've contributed my own example, which is an open pull request. If you want to see it. I'm trying to remember what I called it. Oh, this guy trying to make the animate shader work on Wasm, so I guess multiple people are talking about it. I made an example called animate material, which is still failing its thing. It's continuous integration for a reason I do not know. But the idea, and no one who has discussed it, was that we can just use the material example. And so if you want to see my code for that example, it's in my fork of Bevy. Examples, shaders, animate material, which uses the exact same shader as animate shader, but it runs using the same code that we've done in my two tutorials in the base shader material, except it adds an extract and prepare system. So I guess I can show this off now. Yeah, and the extract system just creates a new resource in the render world, and then the prepare time system, this uses the new in case way of writing buffers that I don't think we'll have to worry about, but then it just writes to the existing buffer for each one of our custom materials, and everything else we've already seen before. So I'm going to try that here. Nobody's told me this is the wrong way to do it, so that's what we're going to do today. So what we need to do to get it working here is first we need to extract our active fires. So let's create a function, extract fires. And we're going to add this to, is it get subapp, render app. And we want to add it to the extract stage. So add system to stage, render stages, I think. No, what was it called? Render stage. That was close. Extract. Let's import this. And I'm going to do extract fires. Sorry, I'm going to sneeze for a second. I need to get that on a hotkey. So extract fires. And our goal here will be, what are you upset about? No method for standard result. Does this return a result? Does it? How do I handle that here? Subapp mute. Oh. If you have get, then it returns an option, but this version just crashes. It just panics if it doesn't exist, which is fine. Because I would panic too. So now we have extract, which will, I don't actually know the intricacies of how this works, but I believe the commands will be given here. It's been a while since I've wrote a system. The commands will be given here will let us spawn things in the render world, and all the resources and entities we query will be from the main world. So I think the way this fire is set up is it's one entity. Right? Oh, active fires is a resource. So I want to get the active fires resource, and I want to clone that into the render world. More of, I kind of want it to probably already be, I want this resource to be in the render world. And I want to construct it here. But the trick is extract should be a very short stage. But I don't know how much that's going to matter for a simple 2D game. Oh, I do have an announcement that I should make now. I'm going to write down the timestamp so I can bookmark it. I'm going to be gone next week, Monday to Thursday. But after that, I'll be at a place with high-speed internet where I should be able to live stream. So I'm thinking I'll be there for like 2 weeks. And I think I'm going to spend a couple hours each day live streaming, making like small games, like game jam sized games. And I'm hoping to get like 2 of them done. So if you're interested in that, I won't work on this project as to not overwhelm it with man hours. But if you're interested in seeing that, keep an eye out. And I'll post on my Discord too. Alright. The dogs outside have seen something move, and I apologize for that. I've listened back, and I don't think my mic's picking them up that loud, so I'm going to keep working through them. So here, I want to insert the resource of fires. Sure. I probably need to clone it. Cool. And now in the render world, we'll have access to that resource. So now we need to prepare and I'm going to add a system. Sorry, my Vim fingers are so slow. Yeah. I want to add a system to prepare, which will write the buffer that we've created. Prepare fires. I forgot the dot. Okay. So here I don't need commands. I want the fires resource, which will be the one that we just inserted here. And I want to get our material, which how do we create this material? We spawn it. So we create one entity that has this material. One and only one. And it's a render asset. So I think what we want to do is we want to get the render assets of fire material, which I think actually should be fire overlay material. But that's fine. So we're going to get the render assets of fire material, of which we expect there to be one. So material, which will be render asset of fire material. And render asset, remember, is just a hash map. Oh, render assets, which I can import. Which is what I showed off when I was showing the engine code last week. It's just a hash map from the handles to the render assets prepared asset, which in our case is FireMaterialGpu, which has the buffer that we want to write. So when we prepare, I want to say, is there a good way to get a single value from a hash map? Okay, let's not do this. Let's look up Rust hash map. Oh, my poor internet. And let's see. I want to get the values, because I don't actually want to have to deal with my key. This returns the values, an iterator over the values. Yeah, sure. So let's try it. So for material, in material dot values, of which there will be only one, I hope. I could probably assert that there's one. And panic if there's more than one, because that would be a weird problem. That'd be hard to detect. Is there a way to get a count? Let me just do that now. Lin. Let's say assert lin or material dot lin is 1. Is that not how assert works? Oh, it's assert equals 1. Sure. And then for each material, we have the FireMaterialGpu, and I want to get its buffer, StorageBuffer, and I want to write to it. And the way we write to the buffer, let me see. I have to read the engine code here to make sure this works how I want it to. When I write to the buffer, it reserves a buffer on the device. Does this create a new buffer every time? Q write buffer. I'm worried this will create a new buffer. Oh wait. Oh no, it doesn't. Because if StorageBuffer is none, it will create a buffer. So this should be lazy and not create a new buffer. So what I want is to write the buffer. And I want to, not append, but I want to overwrite it. So let's see. So in prepare fires, I want to first update all the values. Material dot. want to append. I want to clear it, then append, I guess. Probably. This should be cheap, I'm hoping. Material.StorageBuffer.clear. Then I want to append, then I want to write. So values is going to be fire data. Is that a thing? What was data down here? It's been a while. Why did I name something data? Oh, extracted asset, active fires. I think it's just active fires. Get fires GPU. Get fires.gpu. That's something that has changed. So it'll be fires.get fires GPU, which I think does a clone, but we're in prepare, so it's probably fine. And then here I need to get the render device resource. Device. It's important to note that in the render world, all entities are removed every frame, but resources will remain. Res of render queue. And the render queue is used to create a task that will then be executed, I believe. Oh. Maybe queue is the right stage. The animate shader, I think, does this in the queue stage, but I don't think it's The queue will just set it up to write it. I don't know. It's just what we need to write the buffer, and then the queue actually does the write buffer. So what are you not happy about now? Oh, it needs borrows. Probably. Mayhaps. Okay. Prepare fires. This is not, oh, because I need a resource of render app, or render assets. And now, oh, good grief, what are we not happy about? Mutable. Oh, okay, we're going to need to mutate the material, which is perfectly reasonable. That's what I'm trying to do, is mutate the material. Oh, and so I need values mute, probably. And I need mute here, maybe. What are you not happy about? Oh, because this needs to be declared as mutable. And I guess this doesn't need to be mutable. Cool. Sorry that I just kind of like bumbled my way through Rust. I'm sure it's painful to people who are actually interested in Rust as a language. But for me, it's just a tool to get a job done. So I believe this will crash instantly. Insertion failed, material length 1. Does that happen like on the first frame? What's the size of material? Sure, it's just, let's see if my assertion was just wrong. Oh, it is wrong, because we're creating a new one every frame. So now, this will still work, but it's working because we're cheating. I don't want to create a new material every frame. I want one material. That was a good assertion, because I would have just thought it was working while we were still doing the nonsense. So now, you still work. Okay. So this might feel like it was just a meaningless endeavor because we've got to the same result. So now this should all work much better now, because now this is all change detected. We got remove component working. Yeah. All of the remove and change detection stuff comes from the pull request today. From, I think it was some awesome dude or some cool dude. Another cool dude. Which I agree, that's a pretty good name. Cool. So this, in essence, is what I'm going to try to do in the next shader video, which I want to have out by Friday. Why are you panicking? Oh, why are you crashing? Oh, that's not good. Okay. Can't say I've seen this one before. Is it Xkill? Uh-oh. Bye. Oh, you're still... I always print the line. I lost what I was saying. Oh, I'm hoping to get the final shader video out before I leave. So Friday, Sunday. Oh, there's 0 the first time. Yeah, okay. Or let's just say it's less than or equal to 1. Yeah, that's my dream, is to have it out this week before I go off on a trip. And then when I come back, I'll probably start doing physics. Oh, why are you not rendering now? I guess I have more debugging to do before I can just start rambling. I should probably go back to paying attention. Was it because there's 0? Is there always 0? I don't think so. Because that wouldn't cause the gray overlay. I was talking and changing code, so I probably just broke something and everyone saw it while I was just trying to ramble. Alright, there is 1 material. Let me, I guess, print the fires.win. Fire dot what? Fires dot fires. Great. Love stuff like that. See if this is getting copied over correctly. Why do you just work now? Why is something non-deterministic happening? I'm gonna need to go back and look at the video again. Oh, that's not what I was hoping for. Why would you work? Okay, do you actually work non-deterministically, or did I actually delete the wrong code or something? So when we spawn fire, which I think is the startup function, spawn fire overlay. I'm wondering if these two need to happen in a certain order. Say before spawn fire overlay. Okay, that works. What about after? Ah, how interesting. So why, when the overlay is created first, Fire GPUs. We create the material. Yes, yes. And then when I prepare the fire, though, you should active fires. They should work. I'm confused why order matters here. So there are multiple active fires. We're pending and writing the buffer. Fire GPUs will work. And if I change it to before, seems to work, right? Because if I move it, it does move, and if I despawn it, it doesn't despawn. Why is it not despawning? I'm clearing the buffer, and then I'm writing the buffer. Oh, does this not work? What does clear do? It clears the values. Append appends the values. Am I appending the wrong thing? No. Because that's what gets appended here. It's a vector of active fires. And then I write the buffer. And it's obviously still bound because when I change it, it's changing. Is the size and binding size none? Is the size not changing? Oh, maybe this doesn't work, which would be very upsetting, and I would feel embarrassed. But I don't know why it wouldn't. Okay, so when I write the buffer, for storage buffers, I do need to reserve the buffer again, because the size is different now. So not just if none, it's if none or if the size is greater than scratch.win. So when I write buffer, we're filling it out with zeros, right? Oh wait, if values is empty, we fill it with zeros. Is this a bug here? I mean, it's probably not a bug, because I'm probably just using it in a horrific way. Oh, good grief. Okay. So I think, let me express my thoughts. So this does work. I bet if I added more entities, it would work. I need to get that map to spacebar to test it, because the size would be bigger, and it would create a new buffer. I think when I'm despawning these... Oh wait, now that one despawned. But that one doesn't. But then when I change this, I despawn that. One of them despawned, didn't it? This is acting janky. Despawn? Despawn. I despawned two of them. One of them disappears. What if I'm going to be upset if I have to do this. Well, no, because I can't bind. If I made a new buffer, I wouldn't be able to bind it, because I'd have to create the bind groups again. So storage buffer here. If the size is greater than the scratch.win. Oh, scratch.resize? No, what is scratch? Scratch is the vector of values. I might need to go like pace and think about what I'm seeing here. So reserve buffer. Self.size. What is self.size? Self.size returns return new self.size. Where do you get your size from? Bevy docs. StorageBuffer. Where do we get size from? Am I losing my mind? I think I'm losing my mind. Maybe that's not the rabbit hole I need to go down. Oh, size? No, it's not. Okay, whatever. Oh, I can go to definition on it. Oh, size. Here it is. It is... Oh, I was just scrolling over it a bunch. So it is doing item size plus times the length for the values. Okay. So if the size is bigger, it resizes it. Or resizes the scratch, and it will create a new buffer of the size. But when size is less, it doesn't resize. So write buffer should write all zeros. Can't quite tell what the behavior I'd want here would be. That probably is empty, which it won't be. Then write the array. But I'm now smaller than I once was. Because when I clear, and then append new things, I've appended a less. So you need to reserve the buffer again. But when you re-reserve the buffer, that will change what the bind group should be attached to. So maybe this doesn't work for storage buffers. That's kind of upsetting because I think I'm slowly coming to the realization this doesn't work. But it works still for uniforms because those will be constant. But it's when the buffer size here decreases. Now I don't understand what behavior I'm seeing and why it's inconsistent. Because why am I seeing 2s here? I guess what I can do, appends the values. Can I get the size myself? I can't publicly get the size. I want the size of the buffer. So buffer let me get the size of it? Of course not. I mean, it gives me an ID and... Oh, I can get the binding, which would give me the size. So I can get my hands on the size of the buffer. And I can zero it out by hand. But then I think when I create new things, it will just completely break. Because I cannot ever create a new buffer. Okay. So what if we stopped using storage buffers? If I stopped using storage buffers and just hard cap it to there's only 4,096 campfires allowed. Does that work out better for us? And then I would just be able to reserve that entire size up front. That's unfortunate, but it might be what we have to do. So I'm going to start doing that. This is probably another timestamp worth writing down. Sorry for all the silence as I was just thinking, but I hope you saw that was an upsetting problem to find. And I don't know if I can come up with a way around it. Can I make a branch? Create branch. Branch name. Storage buffers. I think it's a dash maybe. Storage buffers. Let me just do this from command line. See Bevy tutorials, live coding, Bevy survival crafting game, get status, one branch storage buffers, get add, hit commit, gem. Doesn't work because buffers need resizing. I guess that sums it up. Okay, get status, get checkout master. Which should take us back to where we were, which I don't actually like. Well, maybe today's the first live coding session that just kind of fails to reach its goals. But let's say on master, we don't want to use storage buffers anymore. So let's remove storage buffers as a concept and replace it with a static buffer. I want to get rid of all of this grossness at some point too. This is gross. Disappointment. So let's create a buffer. Render device dot create buffer. Buffer descriptor needs to be a reference. What do you want? Woohoo! Down the rabbit hole. Sure. It's not create buffer. It's init with data, which needs a buffer descriptor, buffer init descriptor, which needs to label contents and usage. Label none, because we're not using any graphics debugging. Buffer usages, uniform, and buffer usages, copy destination. And I want contents to be static array, that size 4096. Can I make a constant max fires? Probably. This is perfectly reasonable for gameplay. size, maybe. Sure, why not? And contents will be what fires equal. Here we go. GPU fires or fire GPU of 4,096 of them. Max fires. Right? Fires dot as STD140 bytes, maybe. Fire GPU here. Default maybe. No storage buffer. Go away. Why not? Let me go look at my tutorial code. Time shaders works. Let's prepare asset as STD140. So as STD140 not implemented for arrays of as STD140. That would be quite unfortunate. What did I just do? Oh. Is it just because I need to import it? Sorry. I'm feeling a little deflated right now, if you can't tell. Okay. Can I open another instance of VS Code? Look at the tutorial code. Don't peek. This will all be explained, I think. I was also just trying out some cool graphics things with it. SSTD140. Oh, could you flip me out? Where do I get SSTD140 from? SSTD140, SSTD140. SSTD140. Help, I'm losing my mind. I've been going too long. Ow, wait, haha, I'm dumb. Pardon me. Which is as bytes. That's why I shouldn't just type things from memory. And gorgeous. Okay. So now I need to for fire in data. Probably upsetting some functional person, but that's all I have to say. As enumerate dot iter dot enumerate, maybe. Yeah, fires dot I or fires I will equal fire clone. Sure. And now I've created the buffer. Goodbye, storage buffer. Hello, buffer as entire binding. Can I close out my other code? this entire binding. Okay. Don't know why I stopped trusting myself. Oh, I need to let buffer. Pull that. Okay. Sure. This can definitely be copy. Mutable. Sounds fair to me. You're not mutable anymore. And this clone doesn't need to exist. Wait, no, why? Oh, because it's a reference. Whatever. And now we will just save the buffer, which will be much more nice to us. Much more nice. Be more amenable to what we're trying to do. And now we create our prepare and extract functions, which I've already shown me typing that. Let me just copy and paste like a menace. Oh, not an explosion. Okay, explosion actually isn't going to be in the tutorial, unfortunately. I was really just having fun. Yeah, we'll just grab that. Not extract time, but extract fires again, which will be resource of active fires, and insert resource of fires dot clone. Cool. We need the app to do sub app mute render app, and we need to add startup system to the render stage extract, which will be extract time, and not add startup system, add system to stage, and add system to stage of render stage prepare of prepare fire. And this isn't going to be time, it's going to be called fire. And let's import render stage, import render app. And this will be extract fire. This will be extract fire. Probably also want to give it time at some point just so we can animate it a bit. With the render assets of FireMaterial, I think it was called. And in here, for each asset, we are going to write the buffer with the exact same nonsense we did down here for the first one. Yoink. Or we just copied over into an array of fixed size. Which isn't actually that large. I'm trying to think, that won't hurt my cache. And this is going to need the fires resource. Fires, not fires, I think. Why? What? Active fires? Why do we have the option to get it and clone it? That's from the pull request. Let's see, was it not actually fires.fires? Fires.fires. Fires.fires. No field fires. Why no field fires? Oh, because I named you fires. Ah. Active fires. Active fires. Not fires. So a layer of indirection that doesn't need to exist here. Sorry. Fire. Why are you an entity? Sure, let's just do get Fire's GPU. I see why it's a function now. I take back my complaint. And now what I want to do is I want to write the buffer with fires. Yes. This is a meaningless build. Because we're going to get the same issue where we're still creating it every frame. Hard crash. Validation error. Create bind group. Ah, okay. Good catch. I'm not using you as a storage, we're using you as a uniform. Thank you, WGPU. Guess it wasn't a meaningless build. Oh. Where do I say you're a storage? Is that an outdated error message? Mayhaps? Storage class uniform doesn't match shader storage. Oh, that's in the shader. Yeah. Now you're not an array, you are just fires.496. Which we could do as a shader def, but you know how it is. Don't make me... How do you do an array? Oh, sure. Yeah, why not? What? What are you saying? It's an array. But you're an array. So why can array length not be done on you? Well, and you're not a storage. You're a uniform. Probably the bigger complaint there. Fragment is invalid. Oh, it has to be a storage array. Yeah, okay, sure, whatever. Num fires equals 496. Definition of num fires. Expected to be I32. Yeah, okay, whatever. Ooh, Ooga-booga. Here we go. Despawn, go away. Despawn, go away. And transform, move. Why is my frame rate so bad? Let's get the frame rate on screen. Do I have that in main? Frame rate's so bad. Assuming because of 4,096 things being written to a buffer every frame. It's unfortunate. I know Bevy does their GPU whites with the same method, but they're probably being a bit lazier with it than I am. Let's see. Do I have the ability to profile this? Let me look at my template. I just want to see if we're being held up graphics card or CPU. In the template, I have this cool little function on here. which helps me remember how to trace things. So let's do Bevy tutorials, live coding, and the game. Let's make a release build. This is going on a bit long, but I hope something here is interesting. Honestly, if this ends up being slower, then it might be better just to actually recreate the material every frame. I wonder, even if I was using the animate material techniques, if I would still be able to, or the animate shader techniques. When I set the bind group, I probably still wouldn't get any value out of doing this, even with our storage buffer problem, because I would end up creating the bind groups, bind groups, time bind group. Yeah, I wonder if I would still have the same problems, even with all of this, because I'd still be creating the materials. Trace, or is it Brave Trace? Brave tracing. Load. Bevy tutorials. Live coding. This game. Give me my trace. How do you use this stupid tool? That's probably not a real frame. Or it's... What is going on? It's like periodically catching. Graphics, prepare fire. It's taking 61 milliseconds. Is that true? Oh. Prepare fire is taking 31 milliseconds. No. Wait, all of this is taking 31 milliseconds. Prepare. My entire frame is just prepare. Oh, I've done something bad. Why are you all taking... So the reason it's taking a long time in prepare, I'm wondering if that's the graphics card limitation. Because it's not just my function that's taking a long time, it's everything in prepare. So let's see if the book tells us anything about this. Does the book tell us if we get hung up in prepare, waiting for the next frame? In render bound scenario, start of the app is waiting for extract to finish. The app is waiting. Start of extract is waiting for the app to finish. So I feel like I'm not GPU bound. I feel like I'm CPU bound. Just looking at that. Which doesn't make any sense, because prepare should only be copying 4,000 things. What if I move it to Q? I'll probably run another trace on it. I could just decrease the count, but my computer is strong, so if I'm having problems, I don't want to imagine what would happen on something like my laptop. Probably all the trace we need. Let's load a new trace. So now, zoom in on a normal frame. We're still stuck in prepare. Are we actually GPU limited? Is this what it looks like when it's GPU? I guess one thing I can do to test that is I can just make this not loop. I guess for every fragment it was doing nonsense. It is GPU limited. So now if I do a profile, just out of experimentation, and load that, we see our frames are taking, wait, prepare is still taking 12 milliseconds. 8, 9, but if I turn this back on and run again, we end up taking much longer. So it is GPU bound. That is what that ends up looking like. So maybe NumFires was aggressive with 4096. Let's look at Bevy. Hope y'all are enjoying me not succeeding. And I want to look for like GPU lights. I think max directional lights. Max directional lights is 1. Oh, max point lights, they only have it 256. Okay, maybe I was overestimating what a graphics card can get away with. Let's see. Most campfires anyone really needs is going to be like 32 campfires. Now let's go up to 64. Take it down a full order of magnitude. That was interesting. I now know how to detect when I'm GPU bound. Well, my poor graphics card. Should have been mining Bitcoin or something instead of doing whatever I was just doing to it. Ooh, the game now runs. Moves. Despawns. Beautiful. Moves. Despawns. Good. I have no reason to believe adding new ones wouldn't work. We can get rid of this now. Oh, not 4096 though. Oh, that should be crashing. Why does that not crash? I want to push like a shader def. Is it pound fine? Max fires. 64. Not getting the vibe that's working. Bevy. What have we ever done here? Can I look at your PBR shader maybe? Do you do a define anywhere? Define input? If def? That all looks familiar. If def? You just let it. Okay, whatever. There's a way. But I do not know it. Are you still not happy about? Oh. Cool. And let's change this to be max fires. On my other monitor it works now. By the way. Less than max fires. Unfortunate. But 64 fires. Probably enough for gameplay sake. Which is the end goal. So let's clean up all of our warnings. Probably don't need this anymore, do I? Goodbye. Goodbye. And this will get us a little bit more performance, I would hope. Because this alignment works. It was the 430 that was having problems. Which, maybe I shouldn't be using an undocumented strut. Maybe I ran in... Or I think I just hit real, like, technical limitations in it. Support GPUs that don't store... well, we also now support GPUs that don't support storages. So, at some point, we're going to want to merge whatever solution we find on the other branch. I hope I'm using branches right. I know. Don't create handles every frame, so I don't ever need to mutate the material. And let's get rid of the traces. Goodbye. Make sure this looks clean. Yeah, that's a commit. Changed fires to not use storages. Now, change fires to not use storages. Okay. So that was a good day's work. It was an hour and 20 minutes. I hope something there was useful. I do feel like I learned a little bit of pointers that I'm going to put into the next video, so I got my value out of today. Yeah, if you're interested in live coding, or live streaming, I'll be trying it out probably like June 7th, whatever that Monday is. And I'll be gone next Monday to Thursday. As always, there's a link to the GitHub in the description. Pull requests are welcome and appreciated. There's a link to the Discord. And thank you so much to all my Patreons. I got a new Patreon this week, which is very exciting. And I'm always shocked to see the kind of support that I'm getting by doing things like this. So, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you all have a good rest of the week. Goodbye.